Okay. So today we are going to start with the revision of chapter number 2, that is your forms of business organization. Okay. So in the first form of business organization, we are having the sole proprietorship. Okay. So as the name suggests, sole proprietorship, sole means, what do you mean by the word sole? Yes, what is the meaning of word soul? Soul का meaning क्या
I'm
होता है?
solo.
हाँ, soul. That's it. Soul means yes. This is sole proprietorship business. What do you mean by this sole proprietorship? Okay. Let me tell you, sole proprietor means single owner business. Okay. Sole means individual or single person, and proprietor means owner. Okay. So this is single owner business in which there is only one individual who is having all the profits and he is bearing of the losses. मीन्स जितना भी उस बिजनेस में प्रॉफिट है और जितना भी उस बिजनेस में रिस्क है all is being in the hand of your one individual or a single individual only. So very commonly we are seeing the sole proprietorship business which are running around us like a general store, a stationery shop, a medical store, in which you can see whenever you go there is a single person who is dealing with the customer. Okay. So वो business को हम क्या कहते हैं? That business is known as the sole proprietorship business. He is the only one who is investing money in the business. He is the only one who is taking all the risk, and he is the only one who is enjoying all the profit of the business. That's why we call this business as the sole proprietorship business. Is the meaning of sole proprietorship clear to you all? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we move to the features of sole proprietorship business. So the first feature of sole proprietorship business is easy to form and close. Means we can easily start a sole proprietorship business and we can easily close a sole proprietorship business. There are very less legal formalities which are to be fulfilled for starting a sole proprietorship business. Like if you want to start a say general store, you don't need any license or any permission from any government office for starting the general store. It is your wish, you can start it anywhere anytime. Okay. And in the same way, if you want to close the business, you want to shut down the business, you can close the business anytime. You don't require any permissions for that. But in some cases like of medical stores or you are dealing in arms business, in that at that time you need a license. वहाँ पे तो आपको लाइसेंस रिक्वायर्ड है बट इन द अदर फॉर्म्स ऑफ सोल प्रोप्राइटर you don't need any licensing. Okay. So it is very easy to start and close your sole proprietorship business. Okay. Now second is the liability. Okay, so the liability of your sole proprietor is unlimited. Unlimited liability is there. So as I told you earlier also that there are two types of liability, limited and unlimited. Who will explain me what do you mean by unlimited liability? Yes. What do you mean by unlimited liability? This is a revision class going on. You have to answer the question.
Ma'am, in unlimited liability, the shopkeeper has a risk of giving his personal properties for recurring the debt.
Yes, very good. Vanchika, while we are talking about unlimited liability, it means that if there are debts in the business and those debts are to be paid, and in case the property of the business is not enough to pay the debts, at that time the personal property of the owner can be sold to pay the debts of the business. So this is known as unlimited liability. And who will explain me the meaning of limited liability? What do you mean by limited liability?
Ma'am, in limited
Yes, Ayushi.
limited liability, only the share, only the share that has been invested by the proprietor in his business can be in the risk of going, but his property will not be sold to pay his debts.
Yes, very good. In case of limited liability, only the money which is being invested by the owner in the business will be at risk. His personal property will not be sold for paying the debt. So that is known as your limited liability. But in case of sole proprietorship, we are having the unlimited liability, means the personal property of your sole proprietor can be sold to pay the debt. Okay. Now, number three is your only bearer of profit and loss. Means he is the only bearer of profit and loss of the business. He will face all the losses. He will get all the profit of the business because this is a sole owner business. Means there is only single owner. So that's why all the profits, all the losses are being by the single individual or the owner of the company. Okay. Now the fourth feature is your control, means the control of the business is in the hand of that single person only, that single individual only. He is the one who is bearing all the, you can say he is taking all the decisions of the business. जितने भी decisions हैं related to your purchase, related to your sales, anything which is related with the business, all the decisions of the business will be taken by the sole proprietor only. Okay. Now, number five is your no separate entity, means no separate existence of business, means the existence of the business is dependent upon the existence of the owner. The business is not having its separate entity. Separate entity means the different existence of the business firm. The business firm is being known by the name of the your sole proprietor only. Okay, the individual is having the identity for the business only. The business is having no entity of its own. Okay, in case of death or the insolvency of the businessman, the business will comes to an end because there is no separate entity of the business. Okay, now the last one is your lack of business continuity. As I told you that there is no separate entity of the business, that's why there is no business continuity on the death or the insolvency of the owner. The business will comes to an end. Okay, so the features of the sole proprietorship clear to you all, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we come to the merits of the sole proprietorship business. So first merit is your quick decision making. So in case of your sole proprietorship, as I told you, that he don't have to consult with anyone, he has to take the decisions by himself. So that's why there is always quick decision making in case of your sole proprietorship business. Okay. Now the second one is your personal satisfaction. Personal satisfaction is there in the business because he is the only one who is getting all the profits of the business and he is taking all the decisions of the business. He is having all control in his hand only. He don't have to share any information, any profits with anyone. So that's why there is personal satisfaction in case of your sole proprietorship business. Then number three is your information will be kept secretly. Means as he's the only one in the business, he don't have to share the information. So the information can be kept secret by the individual or the sole proprietor because there is no compulsion for him to share the information with anyone of your office business. Okay. Then number four is your direct incentive. Direct incentive is your direct income. Means all the money which is coming in the business is going to the sole proprietor only. जितना भी money है, जितना भी profit है, वो सारा money किसके पास जा रहा है? It is directly going to the sole proprietor. So he is enjoying all the incentives of the business. And the last is your easy formation and closure, which we had discussed earlier also means this business can be easily started or closed. There are no legal formalities which are to be fulfilled for starting or closing the sole proprietorship business. Is this clear to you all? All the merits are clear?
Sir.
Okay. Now we move to the demerits of the sole proprietorship business. First demerit is your limited resources. Who will explain me this demerit? Limited resources. Why the resources are limited in case of sole proprietorship? Yes.
Ma'am, because in this the owner is single and only one owner is investing the capital, so capital is so less, therefore we cannot take so much resources.
Yes, the capital in case of your sole proprietorship is less because it is being invested by the single individual only. So, because of the less and the limited capital, he is able to arrange limited resources. That's why the resources which are present in the sole proprietorship business are limited. Now, second is your limited life of a business concern. The life of the business concern is limited because the business can come to end on the insolvency or the death of the businessman. Means जो हमारी आइडेंटिटी है बिजनेस की वो किस पे डिपेंड कर रही है, इट इज बीइंग डिपेंडेंट ऑन द बिजनेसमैन ओनली. So on the death or the insolvency of the businessman, the business will come to an. Okay. Now number third is your unlimited liability. Who will explain me unlimited liability? I had explained it earlier also. What do you mean by unlimited liability? Yes. Navneet, can you explain what do you mean by unlimited liability?
An unlimited liability if the proprietor is falling in debts, so he may has to sell his own property, personal property, for recovering the debts.
Yes, he has to sell his own personal property for paying the debt. That's why it is called as unlimited liability. Okay. Now the last is your limited managerial liability. Limited managerial liability means as the person is single only, there is only one person. So one person cannot be expert in all the managerial abilities like sales, purchase, or you can say marketing. No one can do all the things correctly at a time. So because of being individual, there he is not able to do or perform all the managerial activities by himself correctly. So that's why we say that the sole proprietor is having the limited managerial ability. So is this clear to you all? सबको समझ में आ गया sole proprietor? If there is any doubt, you can ask me right now. Is this clear? Okay. Now let's move to the next form of your business organization, that is known as your joint Hindu family business. So what is a joint Hindu family business? In case of a joint Hindu family business, in this business is basically started by the family members or the members of a single family, and compulsion is that there should be at least two members in the family who can start the business. Okay, and the business is being controlled by the eldest member who is known as the Karta. Okay, the Karta is the eldest member of the family. He used to take all the decisions, and all the other members of the family are known as the co-partners, and they have to follow the instructions which are being given by the Karta. They have to work according to the Karta. Okay. Now, the first feature of your joint Hindu family business is formation. Means we can easily start a joint Hindu family business. In this case, only the decision is to be taken by the family. Only family members have to take the decision that they want to start a joint Hindu family business. And the important thing is there should be ancestral property. That is a compulsion in case of a joint Hindu family, that there should be your say ancestral property should be there, and that ancestral property should be on the name of all the family members. Means all the family members are having right on that ancestral property, and that is the investment which is being made by the family or all the members of the family. That is the ancestral property. Okay. Now the second is your liability. The liability in case of your joint in the family is unlimited in case of your karta and limited in case of other members of the family. Means karta is having unlimited liability, means the personal property of the karta can be sold to pay the debt, and other members of the family are having the limited liability, means their share in the ancestral property can only be sold, but their personal things cannot be sold. Okay. Now the third one is the control. Means all the controlling of the business is in the hands of कर्ता. As I told you before only, यहाँ पे क्या होता है, जितने भी डिसीजन मेकिंग है वो सारी कर्ता कर रहा है. So that's why all the controls are in the hand of कर्ता. Now sixth is the continuity. So continuity is there in this type of business, as on the death of the karta, the next eldest member of the family become the karta in the business. Means अगर कर्ता की in case death भी हो जाती है तब भी joint Hindu family business जो है वो continue हो सकता है, because in that case जो दूसरा हमारा family member है eldest वो कर्ता वहाँ पे बन जाए. Okay. Then number 5 is your minor member. Minor member is the children who are below 15 are known as the minors. Okay, so even the minors are also the member of the joint Hindu family business. Means anyone who take birth in the joint Hindu family needs to be the member of that particular business. Okay, now we will discuss the merits of your joint Hindu family business. First is effective control. So the control is very effective because if you see, the control is in the hands of Karta only. He is taking all the decisions. You don't have to discuss with others. All the decision making power is in his hand, and he is the eldest member of the family. So he is having a lot of experience also to take the decisions. That's why the control is very effective in case of your joint Hindu family business. Then second advantage is continuity of business. Means the business used to be continued even on the death of the कर्ता. Means अगर कर्ता की death भी हो जाती है तब भी business continue करता है. The reason is the next eldest member of the family becomes the कर्ता, and the business continues even after the death of the कर्ता. Okay. Number third is your limited liability of the members. Means the other members of the family except कर्ता are having the limited liability. Means only the part of the ancestral property can be sold, but the personal property of the members of the family will not be sold for paying the tips. Then last advantage is the increased loyalty. Means loyalty is there in this kind of business. लोग जो है काफी loyal होते हैं because this is their family business. अगर आप भी देखो जहाँ पे फैमिली बिजनेस होता है वहाँ पे लॉयल्टी ज्यादा होती है, बिकॉज देखो ये हमारा वर्क है, ये हमारा काम है. So the loyalty is increased in case of your joint in family business. Okay, is merits and features clear to you all, everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, now we come to the demerits of your joint in family business. That is the limited resources. Although the family is big, but the resources are limited because it is the ancestral property only, or a limited amount of money only from a single family which is being invested in this business. That's why the capital remains limited only. So that's why the resources are also limited. Now, number two is your unlimited liability of the karta. Means the liability of the karta is unlimited. Means the personal property of the karta can be sold to pay the debt of the business. Then number three is your karta dominance. Means karta is dominating the business as he is having all the control in his hand. So he is having the control dominance in the business. Means only he is deciding what is to be done in the business. So that's why there is karta dominance in the business, which brings dissatisfaction in case of the other family members. Okay, so dissatisfaction arises. That's why it's the demerit of karta being dominant in this kind of business. And the last one is the limited managerial skill. As I told you, the family is there only, the people are limited there. That's why the managerial skills are also limited. It's not compulsory that they are professional. They are not professional people. They are just the family members. That's why there is no professionalism or very less professionalism, and due to which there are limited managerial skills in your joint Hindu family business. Is this clear to you all? Yes. Sole
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
proprietorship and joint Hindu family business is clear to everyone. Okay. If there is any problem in this part of the chapter, that is your joint Hindu family and the sole proprietorship, you can ask me tomorrow also. Okay, but tomorrow we will be continuing the next part of the chapter, but before that I will be taking your problems in this chapter of basically the topic sole proprietorship and joint Hindu family, and go through the topics very carefully, all the merits, demerits, and the features you have to learn. And there is like everything which is being made clear in your notes also. You can go through your notes also. So go through that, and if there is any problem, you can tell me. Okay.